Have you ever wondered why so many people believe, pray, read the Bible, and still remain trapped in cycles of lack, frustration, and financial stagnation? If faith can move mountains, why does it seem like it can't move your debts, your blocks, or your results? Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might truly surprise you. There is a verse in the Bible, rarely preached from the pulpit, seldom shared on social media, and almost completely ignored by 97% of people. A verse so powerful that when truly understood, it can unlock a whole new reality in your life. We're talking about something that goes far beyond religion or temporary motivation. This verse carries an eternal principle of prosperity, success, and personal transformation. And the most fascinating part? Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, spoke about this, using different words, perhaps not even realizing he was echoing an ancient spiritual truth. Most people search for quick fixes, magic, formulas, or shortcuts to create wealth. But what if the real key was written thousands of years ago, available to everyone, just waiting to be revealed to those truly willing to change their lives? What you're about to discover is more than a Bible passage. It's a spiritual code that, when activated with faith, discipline, and a positive mindset, can completely transform your destiny. Have you felt this before? Like you're always trying, always believing, but something's still missing. Like you have faith, but you're not seeing the fruit? That's no coincidence. It happens because faith without action is like a seed without soil. And action without spiritual direction is like running in circles. The wisdom this verse holds can help break that cycle and take you to a new level of clarity, purpose, and abundance. And no, this isn't just another sermon or theoretical content. What you're going to hear here is practical, it's applicable, it's real. These are words that can change how you think, act, and achieve. And when you combine that with Napoleon Hill's principles, like definite purpose, positive thinking, and daily discipline, hope turns into results. Faith stops being just a feeling and becomes a concrete force of manifestation. Just imagine, what if, by the end of this video, you could clearly see what needs to change today for you to live with more purpose, more prosperity, and stronger spiritual alignment? And what if that change starts now, through a verse that's always been there, but you had never seen it with the right eyes? So open your heart, because we're about to dive into something that goes beyond the ordinary, beyond logic. This is a connection between faith, positive mindset, and disciplined action, exactly as Napoleon Hill taught, but with even deeper roots. And it all starts with this one verse. And as we go deeper into this message, I want to open up space for you, because this isn't just a video, it's a real conversation with people who, just like you, are searching for something greater. So, if this topic resonates with you, if at any point you felt moved, seen, or even stirred by everything we've talked about, leave a comment below sharing what touched you the most. It can be a question, an experience, a thought, whatever you feel. Your voice matters. Your story is part of this transformation too. By the way, every like you leave here isn't just a thumbs up. It's a sign that this kind of content needs to keep going. It's like you're saying, I believe in this. I want to see more of this in the world. And you know what happens when you like and comment? This message reaches more people, more souls who are needing exactly these words, this kind of reflection, this hope. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the perfect time, because here we go deep. We talk about faith with action, spirituality with direction, and transformation with purpose. And I'd love for you to be part of this, to grow with us, to receive each new video as a fresh opportunity to change from the inside out. Your presence here is what helps this channel grow and reach more people who are just as hungry for transformation. It's what keeps this movement of faith, action, and purpose alive. And this is only the beginning, because now it's time to reveal the verse that can change everything. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic because understanding this verse isn't just about memorizing a Bible passage. It's about unlocking a hidden truth that can transform the way you see your financial, emotional, and even spiritual reality. A lot of people read the Bible every day, but very few truly grasp the impact of verses like Deuteronomy 8:18, which says, "Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." This isn't just a spiritual promise, it's a call to responsibility and awareness. It's as if God is saying, "I'm giving you the key, but you're the one who has to turn it." And that's where Napoleon Hill comes in. He always spoke about definite purpose as the starting point of all achievement. Now here's the fascinating part, that definite purpose is, at its core, the same principle revealed in this verse. God gives us the power to create, but it's up to us to decide what to do with that power. That changes everything because it pulls us out of passivity. Prosperity isn't about waiting for blessings to fall from the sky. It's about aligning faith with conscious decisions, daily action, and a mindset trained to spot opportunities where others only see lack. Some people think faith is just about believing, but faith without discipline, without action, becomes illusion. Proverbs 13:4 reinforces this. A sluggard's appetite is never filled, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied. Hill said something similar. Desire without action is merely a wish. See the connection? The Bible and Napoleon Hill's philosophy aren't on opposing paths, they're speaking the same truth in different languages. And this is where many people get lost, because it's easy to believe when everything's going right, but what about when the results haven't shown up yet? True faith, just like the winning mindset Hill taught, is built in life's backstage moments, when you keep going even without seeing, even without guarantees. Hebrews 11:1 defines faith as confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. That's more than belief. That's persistence. That's long-term vision. That's planting today with full conviction that the harvest is coming, even if the field still looks empty. That's why understanding this verse and applying it to your journey is so powerful. This isn't about mysticism or instant magic. It's about stepping into authorship of your own life, knowing you were created to produce, to impact, to prosper with purpose. Hill called it the power of organized thought. The Bible calls it wisdom. Drop a comment below. I'm on this journey too, because this path of transformation is for those who choose to live with intention. And trust me, there's still so much more to come. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic, because we can't talk about faith and prosperity without confronting an uncomfortable truth that many people prefer to ignore. There's a gap between what we believe and what we live. Have you noticed that? People who pray every day, who know Bible verses by heart, who keep their Bible open to Psalm 91 on the table, and yet they're still stuck, tired, in debt, emotionally drained, walking in circles without a clear direction. It's not because they don't believe, it's because something essential is missing between believing and achieving. Clarity of purpose and actions that align with the faith they profess. Napoleon Hill called this applied faith, the moment when belief stops being an idea and becomes a behavior. He said, it's not enough to wish. You have to act with conviction, and the Bible doesn't fall short either. James 2:17 says it plainly, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. That sounds harsh, but it's actually freeing, because it takes you out of the victim mindset and puts you in control of your journey. Change begins when you realize, yes, your faith is powerful, but it needs to be activated through practical steps. How many times have you felt like you were this close to a breakthrough, but something invisible pulled you back to the same old place? Like there's a silent resistance holding you in a zone where everything feels like almost worked, almost changed, almost made it. And that constant almost wears you down until you start settling for less than what you were born to experience. That's the silent pain so many carry, and that's exactly where Proverbs 16:3 comes in. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. What a powerful truth. It's not just about wishing your plans would work, it's about offering your actions to a higher purpose. When Hill spoke about definiteness of purpose, having a clear and focused mission, he was, maybe unknowingly, echoing this same spiritual law. The difference between those who break through and those who repeat cycles lies in the alignment between intention, decision, and spirit-led action. The good news? That gap can be crossed, not with magic, but with clarity and consistency. Because true prosperity begins when faith stops being a feeling and becomes a direction. It's not about doing more, it's about doing with purpose. It's leaving the paralysis of doubt behind and stepping forward, even when fear is present. Fear will always be there, but so will faith. And between the two, which one are you feeding? If at any point you felt that pain of being stuck in almost, if you've recognized yourself in this space between belief and breakthrough, write this in the comments. I recognize this cycle, and let's keep diving deeper into this journey that truly can change everything. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because the moment has come to bring to light a verse that has the power to unlock something inside you. A passage many read, but few truly see. A verse hidden in plain sight, as if it's been waiting for someone to finally look at it with the right eyes. It's found in Proverbs 10:22, and it says, "The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it." Read that again carefully. True wealth comes from the blessing, and that blessing doesn't come with heaviness, with anxiety, or with empty sacrifice. It comes with lightness, with alignment. This verse holds something Napoleon Hill spent his life trying to explain in different words. The idea that true prosperity starts within. He spoke about the power of positive thinking, applied faith, and defining an unshakable purpose. But in a way, all of that was already captured in this single verse. What Hill called a success mindset, the Bible calls the blessing of the Lord. The difference is, to access it, you need more than desire. You need clarity, integrity, and unwavering faith. Here's a revelation few talk about. This blessing isn't some random mystical event. It's the result of a powerful combination, inner readiness and spiritual alignment. It means moving with intention, making decisions that reflect your values, and acting every single day like someone who's already blessed, even when your current reality says otherwise. Yes, it's about mindset, but it's also about consistency, identity, and knowing that you were created with purpose, and that access to prosperity begins with how you see yourself. Many people ignore this truth because they've been conditioned to believe that success must come through extreme effort, that only suffering leads to reward, and they can't accept that God also operates through ease, that He wants to see you prosper without losing yourself in the process. Napoleon Hill said that success without inner peace is just disguised failure, and Proverbs 10:22 confirms it. True wealth brings no sorrow with it. This is one of those truths that when it hits you, leaves a silence inside, because it breaks paradigms, challenges old beliefs, and makes room for a whole new journey of understanding. And that alone is already transformation. But the journey isn't over. It's only just beginning. Write in the comments, "This truth confronts me," and let's keep unlocking this spiritual code together. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because the verse in Proverbs 10:22 carries much more than just a promise of abundance. It reveals a spiritual map, a code that combines purpose, mindset, and decision. When the Bible says, "The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it," it draws a line between two kinds of wealth: the kind that comes from the outside and the kind that's born from within. One can be achieved through blind effort, exhaustion, and personal sacrifice. The other flows from an aligned connection between what you do, who you are, and what you believe. Napoleon Hill understood this principle in a different language. For him, wealth wasn't just about money. It was a sense of wholeness, of mission fulfilled, of living in alignment with a clear purpose. He said, wealth begins with a state of mind, with definite goals and a burning desire to achieve them. What he may not have realized is that this very concept had already been written centuries earlier, in verses like Proverbs 10:22 or even Deuteronomy 8:18, which reminds us, it is the Lord who gives you the power to produce wealth. Now think about the depth of that. It's not just about having a positive mindset. It's about activating the right mindset through a deeper spiritual understanding. Because when you truly understand that the source of wealth is the blessing, and that this blessing is directly tied to your purpose and your alignment with God, everything shifts. You stop seeking outside what can only be built within. That's why so many people feel frustrated, even after doing everything the modern world tells them is right. Working hard, studying, investing. But if all of that happens without clarity of identity, without spiritual direction, the results may come, but they're often accompanied by anxiety, fear of loss, or that inner emptiness that no external success can fill. This verse is an invitation to redefine what it truly means to prosper. And when you accept that invitation, you begin to see your decisions differently. Every choice becomes a seed. Every action becomes part of something bigger. Prosperity then stops being a goal and becomes a result, a reflection of your mindset, your devotion, and your ability to walk in peace with who you are becoming. This awareness changes everything, because it takes wealth off the surface and anchors it in your essence. The kind of wealth that doesn't vanish when the money runs out, that doesn't depend on the market, the government, or luck. A wealth that endures through storms, that expands over time, that leaves a legacy. If this message resonated with you, write in the comments, "Now I understand what true wealth is." And let's keep exploring this path with even greater depth. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because when we connect this verse, the blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it. With the teachings of Napoleon Hill, we begin to see that there's an invisible thread linking faith, action, and results. Hill always taught that the foundation of all achievement lies in cultivating a burning desire, supported by a clear plan and sustained by disciplined action. But that alone isn't enough. The blind spot for many who follow only the self-help path is exactly this. They believe willpower alone is everything, but it's not. It's the alignment between intention, execution, and spirituality that creates true impact. This is where biblical wisdom expands our understanding, because it doesn't dismiss effort, it simply shows that effort, when disconnected from divine purpose, drains you. It wears you down. It takes an emotional toll. Even Hill, though focused on success and achievement, recognized this limitation. He often spoke about the need to connect with something greater, even if he used different words. He knew that without faith, everything crumbles at the first real challenge. What's even more striking is how Proverbs 16:3 captures this exact idea. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. Look at how this echoes what Hill called internal alignment. It's not enough to have a plan. The plan must be aligned with your essence, with your truth, with what you believe at the deepest level. How many people do you know who follow every external success step but still feel empty inside? That's because there's no coherence. There's no connection between what they do and why they do it. And that's where this blend of faith and disciplined action becomes so powerful, because it doesn't just create results, it sustains the journey. It gives meaning to the process. You're not just chasing goals, you're walking toward purpose. And when Hill talks about the power of visualizing your goals, repeating affirmations, and surrounding yourself with people who share your vision, all of that in practice is spirituality in motion. It's faith applied with strategy. It's living like someone who already understands that prosperity isn't a destination, but an expression of your most aligned truth. So the great revelation here isn't that Hill and the Bible contradict each other, but that in essence they complete one another. One translates the other in different languages, but with the same root: faith, decision, clarity, and deep commitment to what truly matters. If this perspective opened something new for you, drop a comment below. Aligned purpose is real power. And let's keep exploring these connections that transform more than just outcomes. They transform identities. Now, I want to go even deeper into this subject because there's a question we need to face with honesty. Why do so many people ignore such a powerful truth? Why does a verse as clear as Proverbs 10:22, which says that true wealth comes from the Lord's blessing and adds no sorrow, go unnoticed by most? The answer, as uncomfortable as it may be, is simple. Because most people are still conditioned to look for shortcuts. The mind has been trained to crave quick results, instant rewards, and magical solutions. But real transformation doesn't work like that. It requires intention, active faith, and daily discipline. And that scares people. Napoleon Hill spoke about this very clearly. He said that failure is the price impatient people pay for avoiding persistence. And the Bible confirms this in Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Look at how these two ideas align. There is a right time. There is inner preparation before outer manifestation. But the problem is, many don't want to wait. They don't want to plant. They just want to harvest. The mistake isn't in wanting to prosper. The mistake is in wanting without building a foundation, in chasing formulas without developing inner structure. That's why 97% of people go through life ignoring this verse and the principles it holds, because they don't value the journey. They confuse movement with progress, and they keep trying to fix from the outside what can only be resolved from within. The hidden truth is this: faith alone, without discipline, turns into empty hope. And discipline without faith becomes lifeless routine. The power lies in the fusion of both. Hill knew that. He spoke about the importance of affirmations, staying focused, taking action even without motivation. All of that is faith in practice. But if you don't understand the purpose behind it, it all becomes just another task. And meaningless tasks don't sustain anyone for long. That's why those who ignore this verse are, in reality, avoiding commitment. Because applying this truth means taking responsibility. It means looking inward and admitting that maybe what's missing isn't more information, it's transformation. And transformation doesn't happen with a click. It happens through a process. It begins when you realize that prosperity is the result of a mind shaped by truth, a routine aligned with purpose, and a faith that takes action. If this message made you reflect on how you live your faith and approach discipline, drop a comment. I'm ready to live with intention. And let's keep uncovering what truly sustains a prosperous life. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because understanding the meaning of a Bible verse is only the beginning. The real impact happens when that verse becomes part of your daily routine. And here's what almost no one talks about. Applying biblical wisdom in everyday life isn't complicated. It doesn't require hidden formulas or grand ceremonies. It's about consistency. It's about training your mind and spirit to operate on a new level of awareness. When Proverbs 10:22 says, "The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it," it's practically offering you a lifestyle, a new way to make decisions, a new perspective on your habits, Napoleon Hill spoke about this when he explained the power of conscious repetition. He said, "The subconscious mind accepts any order given to it with belief and emotion and repeated often enough." Now think about that. If you start your day by reading this verse, meditating on it, and declaring with faith that your prosperity comes from a divine source, you begin to reprogram the way you see challenges and opportunities. You no longer act out of impulse, you act from vision, and it doesn't stop there. After internalizing, you need to declare. Words have power. Saying out loud, "The blessing of the Lord brings me wealth and adds no sorrow," activates your awareness and aligns your energy. This isn't superstition, it's alignment. It's what Hill referred to as auto-suggestion, using affirmations to shape your inner reality, which inevitably influences your external world. The third step is to act with discipline, because it's not enough to just declare if your actions are out of alignment. Faith without works is dead. Remember that? This is where you start acting like someone who already believes. Not with anxiety, but with focus, with courage, with perseverance. As Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." Acting strategically is faith in motion. And as you walk this path, visualize. Hill emphasize the power of visualization as a tool for achievement. When you imagine yourself living the fruits of the blessing, you start to notice paths that once seemed invisible. The Bible calls this seeing with the eyes of faith. And finally, cultivate gratitude, because gratitude seals everything. It confirms that you are already prosperous, even before the results show up. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 makes it clear, "Give thanks in all circumstances." Gratitude is the spiritual signature of someone who knows they're already on the path. This cycle, reading, declaring, acting, visualizing, and being grateful, seems simple, and it is. But when practiced with intention, it changes everything. If this way of living inspires you to take a new step on your journey, write in the comments, "I choose to practice with faith and intention," because that's how true prosperity begins to bloom. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because nothing is more powerful than seeing a truth being lived out in practice. And for that, I want to share a story that really moved me. It's about a woman named Claudia, a single mom of 3, unemployed, in debt, and emotionally drained. She wrote to me months ago saying that by chance, or maybe by divine design, she came across a video where she heard Proverbs 10:22 for the very first time. She said it hit her in a strange way. It wasn't new to her, but in that moment, it was like she heard it with different ears. Right then and there, she made a commitment. Not to the video, not to me, but to herself. She printed out the verse and taped it to the fridge, the bathroom mirror, her notebook. She began declaring it out loud every single day. "The blessing of the Lord brings wealth and adds no sorrow with it." At first it felt like just a phrase, but little by little something began to shift. Not on the outside, on the inside. She started making more conscious choices, small daily changes, new habits, waking up. Earlier, writing down goals, praying with intention, taking action with purpose. She didn't even realize it, but she was applying the very principles Napoleon Hill taught. Clarity, persistence, autosuggestion, definite purpose. 2 months later, she found informal work that, in her words, I never imagined even existed. 6 months after that, she launched a small business with help from a friend. It wasn't just about the money, it was about the trust she had rebuilt in herself. And the most beautiful part, she ended her message with these words, "Now I understand that prosperity began not when I started chasing it, but when I started walking alongside it." I read that, and I understood just how powerful a single decision can be. This isn't a miracle tale. It's an example of how applied truth becomes a bridge, and how the Bible, together with Napoleon Hill's principles, aren't distant ideas, They're real tools, alive, accessible to anyone who chooses to begin, even if that beginning feels small, even if it begins with fear. If this story stirred something in you, write in the comments, "I choose to walk with purpose." And let's keep uncovering together what truly sustains a full life from the inside out. If you've made it this far, it means something inside you resonated with this message. And that already says a lot about where you are in your journey, about your search and your intention to grow with purpose. So if this content made sense to you, if it brought clarity, hope, or even gave you a gentle push to step out of your comfort zone, leave a like, not for the algorithm, but for the connection we built here. It helps keep this space alive, and it lets me know this kind of conversation is worth continuing. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because this is just the beginning of a journey that goes far beyond motivation. Here, we talk about real transformation, practical spirituality, and conscious decisions. If you want to keep walking this path with me, you're in the right place. Oh, and leave this phrase in the comments, "I choose to live with purpose and abundance," just so I know you stayed until the end, and also so others who arrive here feel they're not alone on this journey. There's a video right here that builds on everything we just talked about. Click it and come with me. The next key might be just one play away.